Hello and welcome back to Tiny Artist TV. Today we are going to be doing the second week of our March of Robots. So, as usual, we're going to be using the Draw It app to decide what fantasy creature we're going to be mechanizing. So let's see here. Alright, so it looks like we've got the Basilisk, and then I'm actually going to be doing something a little different for the next few videos. So I am still going to be using a color palette generator to choose my colors, but I want to give my eyes a little bit of a break. So instead of doing the next three on my tablet, I'm actually going to be taking you guys back into my studio and we're going to be doing these traditionally. And I know it's been a while since I did some traditional art. It was back in October when I did the Inktober/Orktober prompt. So I'm actually really excited to do these. It is a little cramped, but it's, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'd like to not lose my drawing skills traditionally. So we're going to be doing the last three Mechanical Beast back on my paper pad. So let's get started. So the Pigments app was the closest thing I could find to the way the Coolers.co website functions, in that it generates a 5-color color palette that typically tends to be harmonious or analogous colors, and of course you can customize what kind of palette you want, whether you want it to be like pastel, or whether you want it to look like some kind of a different vision, like a certain type of color blindness. You can also add and subtract and lock colors just like the Coolers.co app. And the other function is, I'm pretty sure that this functions like other palette apps, but this was the best one that I could find, is that you can save your palettes and name them. So for this palette, I did name it Basilisk, so as I'm going through playing with my new toy, I don't lose this particular palette in the sea of other palettes that I will be saving for the duration of my time with this app. And again, because it's traditional instead of digital, it's not going to be an exact one-to-one, but I am going to try to get it as close as possible. So it looks like we've got like this dark purple navy type color. We've got this cherry red. We've got like a washed out somewhere between a brick and a dark salmon color. We have this like ash gray, and then we have this like acidic slime green. So amongst my many markers and colored pencils and paint, I'm sure I could find something that's close to, if not an almost exact representation of this color palette. But enough about this new toy. Let's go ahead and talk about the Basilisk, because you knew that's where this was going. Basilisk mythology describes this king of serpents as a reptilian creature with sometimes rooster-like qualities, who is famous for its ability to kill with a single glance. Like its bird-like cousin, the cockatrice, basilisks are said to be born from a union of serpents and roosters. Pliny the Elder pretty much creates basilisk mythology altogether in his work Natural History from 79 AD. He describes a serpent called the basilisk, of which all who behold its eyes fall dead upon the spot. In it he writes, "It is produced in the province of Cyrene, being not more than 12 fingers in length. It has a white spot on its head, strongly resembling a sort of diadem. When it hisses, all the other serpents flee away from it. It does not advance its body, like the others, with a succession of folds, but moves along upright and upright in the middle. It destroys all shrubs, not only by its contact, but those even that it has breathed upon. It burns up all grass too, and breaks the stones, so tremendous is its noxious influence. It was formerly a general belief that if a man on horseback killed one of these animals with a spear, the poison would run up the weapon and kill it, not only the rider, but the horse as well. To this dreadful monster, the effluvium of the weasel is fatal, a thing that has been tried with success, for kings have often desired to see its body when killed, so true is it that it has pleased nature that there should be nothing without its antidote." The animal is thrown into the hole of the basilisk, which is easily known from the soil around it being infected, and the weasel destroys the basilisk with its odor, but dies itself in the struggle of nature against its own self. According to a second source, its horrific body is patched together from pieces of the dragon, a serpent, and a cockerel. It has the cockerel's flashy feathered head and is supported by 2 spindly chicken legs. Dragon wings erupt from its shoulders, and a long serpentine tail completes its shudder-worthy look. Although this chimera is a deadly enemy, it can be very small, as Pliny the Elder stated. Early accounts of this monster describe it to being a mere 6 to 12 inches long. Alternatively, the basilisk is sometimes described as a giant snake without the cockerel's head or wings. So mythology.net does say that the cockatrice and the basilisk, the name is interchangeable, but there are 2 distinct descriptions for these creatures, and I obviously went with the snake version. So here are my colors all swatched out. As you can see, the Sharpies got pretty close to the colors that we were looking for. As a matter of fact, I pretty much got all but one, and that's that dusty red. The few markers that I did pull that I thought were going to be close to it, not only were the wrong color, but they ended up being dry, so I had to throw them out anyway. I did combine that sort of peachy pastel with a little bit of red colored pencil to see what that would do. And it actually ended up working pretty well. I do think I am going to have to workshop it just a little bit more, maybe add just a little bit of that purple in there and see if I can get it closer to what that color is, because it's a really weird, really specific color. But for everything else, it's pretty spot on. So I'm very happy with this color palette. And now I just have to figure out what the heck to do with it. so we've come to the end of today's prompt. Looking back, I think I would have actually done something a little different with the colors, like maybe instead of using the purple for the plates because they stand out a little bit and it kind of washes the silver out, maybe just using the silver on the back saw and the tail, and then using the purple as the underbelly, and then maybe using the green for the rest of his body, or just doing something a little different. But overall, I think for not having done anything traditional in, well, color anyway, in almost a year, maybe even longer, I think it's still, you know, it's passable. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course stay tuned for next week when I do week 3 of March of Robots. We'll see what beast and what color palette we get, and I'm also going to be doing a fan art Friday this weekend. So I'll see you guys for those next 2 videos. Until then, have a weird day.